lot of stuff happening, guys. So I kind of like to come at it from like at the last second sometimes. It just kind of helps me like deal with it because there's so much that comes out at once. So you kind of have to like sit back, especially if you know, if you can afford to do that, if people aren't necessarily expecting too much of a thing you have to say. So I think that's cool. Anyways, um, yeah. From the Washington Examiner called Trump's Odds of Winning in 2024 Surge and DeSantis Also Rising. So this is possibly a right-wing news site, and this is in regards to whether or not the FBI raid is going to affect his odds of winning. All right. Even an FBI raid of his winter home and threats of a criminal indictment can't hold back former President Donald Trump, surging the odds of winning the White House back. The latest election betting odds provided to Secrets show that Trump is on top. Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home was searched by the FBI in recent days, according to a betting wrap-up from Covers. From the analysis shortly after the inauguration, in regards to the lead up from years ago, Vice President Kamala, I'm pretty sure this is in multi-years, Vice President Kamala Harris was atop the presidential odd boards at plus 350, with Biden close at plus 400, and Trump in third place at plus 650. Those odds have shifted massively, and Trump is now leading the field as the 2024 U.S. presidential election favorite at plus 275. Implied probability equals 26.667%, which I think that's just the overall amount in ratio. Followed closely by DeSantis at plus 25%. Sorry. Biden now dropped to third place at 614.29%, while Harris has plummeted all the way to fourth place. Yeah, I don't really like her when she's like being interviewed by people. She doesn't really give like good responses. So anyways, we all know this by now, and so there's theories that this raid might strengthen Trump, obviously, and or it will harm him in the polls. I think it's personally gonna help who already like him, but I don't think it's adding votes personally. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I think he lost the voters who wanted a more hush-hush, pragmatic Nazi type like himself, but any Capitol riot type likely has his back. So I watched a secular talk video talk about whether or not this will harm his chances. He compares Hillary Clinton corruption lowering her in the polls for why this will harm Trump. But honestly, people hated Hillary already, to be fair. Of course, she pulled by doing the her vote thing and the female president and yada yada. I didn't actually look into her politics, but that's the main gist of the SJW versus the anti-SJW vibe that was around, at least from what I'm angling at right now. Yeah. In the Gamergate days, IMO, at least to me, there was this obvious forced dichotomy of Washington insider and an outsider, and Trump had the unfortunate appeal of being an outsider, with the drain the swamp to indicate the obvious corruption of insider types. This was terrible logic for people who voted for Trump, to be fair, obviously, as we all know at this point in time. But Hillary was bound to have something Trump's base and the false dichotomy could zero in on. Yeah, so that's just kind of my critique on what Kyle had to say. I think overall, it could be drawing in more people, but I think people already hated Hillary. But I still massively agree that this also opens the door to the more obviously extreme threat, as Kyle mentioned, opening right up for Ron DeSantis. Ugh. All right, see ya.